the Oldish puts out a gift guide, and this year is no different. We've got a really great gift guide that has 84 items on the list. It grows and grows and grows every single year. So, you know, this is probably a gift guide that, there we go. If any of you have any comments to make, just put them down below and I'll see it. I've just opened that window. This would be the gift guide that you would need to see for sure. I think it's really wonderful. I love going through it every year. And this year, I also asked some of our readers if they wanted to contribute anything. So there are a couple of items on the list that our readers have contributed. I've done a special section this year for people who are looking to age in place. They have specific requirements. And so, because that is a big focus for me in my work, I wanted to also make it a focus in the gift guide. Very specific things that you can buy for or do for people who are aging in place, and you want to support that continued aging in place. So let's take a look at the gift guide. It is on the Oldish, which is theoldish.com. So you can go and see this anytime you wish. You can see that, theoldish.com 2022 gift guide. And this is what it looks like. So it is indeed that time of year again. As we noted last year, and it is still true this year, the trend is toward minimalist living. And, you know, people just don't want extra stuff. But the number one gift for many years has been time. I certainly understand that. The older I get, having time with my family is just so important. And whether the aging older person in your life lives on their own or in a long-term care facility, they just value that time with you. So that is a great gift that you can give to somebody all year round. And speaking of all year round, this gift guide is good for all year round. So do keep it handy for birthdays, Mother's Day, Father's Day, Valentine's Day, random gift that you want to give them. That is a really good guide. You can go back and back and back to it. Go to our website, theoldish.com, type in the search function, gift guide, and you'll see all of our gift guides come up. So just pick the 2022 edition and you'll get the most current one. Okay, so here we are back at the gift guide. A digital picture frame has been on the list for a few years. So family pictures, having those family pictures, you can reload them every single year. It's memories that you have as a family that you can point out to people. A bucket list adventure. I'm not going to go through every single one of these, but some of them I do want to highlight. A bucket list adventure is an experience. So I know that for people who enjoy art, the Van Gogh exhibit is making the rounds, and that's a really amazing adventure you can do together. Some people want to go in a hot air balloon, or they want to travel to a particular location, and that would be a great gift that creates memories. Take lots of pictures while you're there, and then you can put them into that digital picture frame, but the memory stays inside our brains. Music is always a great one. So many ideas for gift certificates, just whatever it is that they want to do. For many people, money is very tight. And so a gift certificate that will alleviate some of that stress is a wonderful gift. Now you'll see that some of these items, low vision playing cards and playing card holder, and there are others as we go through, are linked. So there's nothing worse than going through some kind of a guide and you think, oh, wow, that's a great gift, and then you don't know where to get it. So we've tried to do that if we're recommending specific things. And disclaimer, some of them link to Brown Healthcare, which is our sister site, which I also own. But then you can see the pictures, you can buy them right on the site, and away you go. Foot care gift certificates. Now, I didn't lump this in with the regular gift certificates. It is a category on its own. Foot care is something that is really, really important for aging adults. Whether or not people have the ability to bend over and clip their own toenails is an assessment that many healthcare professionals will do to assess functional ability. And whether or not you can bend over and cut your toenails may also be a predictor of future falls. So it's a really important thing to keep your eye on. But if somebody can't do their own foot care is so important. They need to be able to clip their toenails. They need to be able to clean their feet properly to avoid fungal diseases. It's just so important. If you have somebody in your life who isn't able to properly take care of their feet and their toenails, a gift certificate to help them do that, so important. And in many long-term care facilities, dare I say most of them, foot care is an extra. So an extra expense that maybe a lot of people can't afford. So a very important thing. Okay, on we get to exercises. Exercise, again, really important. Weights, and when I say weights, I'm talking 2 pounds and 5 pounds. Skipping is a great cardio workout. If they can skip rope for 5 minutes a day, great cardio workout. I'm going to get back to that. I do have a skipping rope, and I had some elbow surgery recently, and for the last couple of years, I haven't been able to manage to turn the skipping rope on with that one arm, but it's healing now, and hopefully I can get back to it. Stretch bands are great as well. Word seek puzzles is something that was contributed by one of our readers. Cash. Cash is something that I actually didn't think of. And one of our readers a few years ago sent that in to me and said, that's a wonderful gift. And then they can spend it any way they want on whatever they want, whether it's food, a bill that they've been wanting to pay, or maybe just a little extra treat now and then. So cash is a really good gift, but tart it up, put it in a box with some chocolates and wrap it with a pretty ribbon and put it under the tree that way. And then you make it a really special gift. Respite time. Now, respite time is for people who are caregivers. Over 50% of adults over the age of 50 in the US are providing caregiving services to an older adult in their life. For some of them, it is relatively simple. It's cutting the grass or going to get groceries the odd time. But for many of them, it is a 24-hour a day, 7-day a week obligation that they have taken on. They could use a break. So whether the respite time is something that you personally are able to provide, or you have a service in your area that can provide it, just to let that caregiver go out for a while, to see a movie, to go for a walk, to whoops, where are we going? Uh-oh. Sorry. This is what happens sometimes when you get phone calls in the middle. It disturbs everything. I'm sorry, everybody. There we go. All right, we're back. Yes, whether that person can just go out and get their hair done, or go for a walk and get some fresh air, have lunch with a friend, it's really an important thing to be able to give a caregiver a break. Okay, so hip protectors, again, I'm a distributor of hip protectors in our country, and they are wonderful things. I know a lot of people get very afraid that hip protectors are sort of like hockey pants. They are not. They're not like hockey pants at all. If you are a person who is continent and dresses in regular clothes, I mean, if you're going to wear bicycle pants, not much is going to be a secret. But if you're just wearing regular clothes and you have a model such as the Slim Fit, which is what's linked here, then nobody is going to know that you have these pants on. The hip protectors are so important. And frankly, many hip fractures happen inside the home. People tend to think of them as something that happens outside the home, winter snow and ice and things. And while that is true, in the winter months, for those of us who get a lot of snow and ice and we tend to stay in our homes a little bit more, we tend to be more sedentary, which leads to weakened muscles, which means that when we do stand up, we are more likely to have a fall. When we do trip, we are less likely to be able to recover quickly. So falls happen inside the home as well. Be aware of that and make sure you protect yourself, because a fall, if it does some damage, if you fracture a hip, it can lead to your inability to maintain your tasks of daily living independently. So it's a really, really serious thing. So hip protectors, they are often prescribed by OTs and PTs as well. So, somebody who has had them prescribed or somebody who is prone to falling could use that protection. And again, it might be something that they may not be able to afford. Memberships to a favorite museum, art gallery, or a park. What a wonderful way to be able to get outside and go for a walk. Or, the museum, you can walk for miles inside a museum. Great way to get some exercise. Adaptive clothing. As we age, sometimes that range of motion becomes somewhat challenged, and there may be some pieces of clothing that are a little bit different in terms of being able to put them on and take them off. So that would be helpful. We did do a live on slippers, shoes, and boots. In fact, I've done a couple of them, and it's based on the tread of the boot so that you are really safe. And there have been studies that have been done at the Toronto Rehab Institute that have recommended certain boots. I have the ones that they recommended number one last year, and they are just wonderful. I feel a lot safer with them on. So you can find that live and you can actually see the boots because I ordered them and I showed them on the live. Okay. Squatty potty. Yep. But a little later on here, you are going to see a bidet toilet as well. So, a couple of toilet items there. A selection of greeting cards. Don't discount something like that because you can make quite a performance out of that. Greeting cards that are birthday, anniversary, and condolence cards. Get a roll of stamps, print out return address labels, and then they're all ready to go. All they have to do is sign the card and put an address on it, and they're good to go. What a help that is to have those things handy. And going along with that, somewhere on this list is also a calendar where you can mark people's birthdays and anniversaries so that they won't be forgotten. Really, really, really good thing. Podcasts, audiobooks, really terrific things to be able to listen to, particularly for people who have challenges with their vision. That's a really great thing. Going down through complimentary medical certificates. Some people can benefit enormously from having a massage, a chiropractic treatment. I just underwent a new kind of bone scan that doesn't use radiation. It was $150. For some people, that is outside of their affordability comfort zone, but you can see that it is on the Oldish Facebook page. There was a news article that was published about it, and I shared it there. But that whole process, I make use of a lot of complementary medical services. I get a massage once a month. It's my stress reliever. The foot care is a complementary medical procedure. Acupuncture helps some people with a lot of things. So, those gift certificates can really give people the opportunity to look after their own wellness on their own schedule in their own time. So, those are really great things to give to people. Medication organizers. Make sure you know the kinds of medication that people are taking, and then you can choose the right medication organizer. Very, very handy. Very handy. And don't forget really customized gifts. And for that, I put down Etsy, because you can go to Etsy and you can search your local makers no matter where you live in the world. You can restrict it to your own geographic area. And you can get wonderful things, tea towels or mats to put at the front door that have special messages that may have relevance to your family. So many really personalized gifts that are really useful gifts as well. So don't forget Etsy and your local makers, and then you are supporting local business as well. Okay, now we get to the independent living gifts. And so these are the gifts that I have particularly suggested for people who are aging in place. As many of you will know, I have certifications in accessibility assessment. And so these are some of the things that I recommend for clients. These are some of the things that you can do for aging loved ones who want to stay in their own homes and their own communities. Drawer pulls. You know, those round drawer pulls can be very challenging for arthritic hands. So replace them with something that is U shaped, and also looking at uh, the hardware on doors, bedroom doors, bathroom doors, entrance doors. Go for the levers, they are very important. Home assistants can do a lot of things. Now, there is something of an argument in some circles about home assistants and the fact that they allow people the option of not getting up out of their chair to adjust the thermostat or to turn on a light or do something for them. But I really think for somebody who is aging in place, that having a home assistant that can do some of the tasks, like adjusting temperature or turning lights on before one gets into a home, or locking doors automatically, can be actually very helpful. So I'm a fan of home assistants. A bundle buggy. Now, this is something that when my kids first went to university, the grocery store was a little bit of a ways away. And I suggested to them a bundle buggy, and they were like, "Ooh, Mom, no, that's for old people." Well, okay, I'm an old lady now. I have a bundle buggy, and holy jumping, what a great assistant it is for me. It saves me on trips. It saves me hauling heavy things around, like having to hold on to them while I'm going down elevators, um, or just moving around my neighborhood. I think they're wonderful. So if you have somebody who is within walking distance of a grocery store or a pharmacy or wherever it is that they go, a bundle buggy is a really great gift that lets them buy maybe a little bit more than they would ordinarily, because the bundle buggy will do the heavy lifting and taking it back home for them. All right. Reorganizing the kitchen. This is a really big deal. We tend to organize our kitchen so that it looks pretty and on all the like things are together. So all the dinner plates are together, all the bowls are together, and so on. And if you've got a 10-piece serving, that's really wonderful to have them all together and looking pretty in your cupboard. But the reality is that if you live by yourself, or if there are just a couple of you, you're not going to use all 10 pieces of that serving set. So reorganize the kitchen so that the things you use most often are within easy reach all the time. When you have a party, or the family's coming over for a holiday meal, you can have them reach up and get the rest of them down. You don't need to do that yourself. But to have a little area separated off where you can have a couple of dinner plates, a couple of bowls, a couple of bread and butter plates, a couple of drinking glasses, and a coffee cup or two, that can be really helpful to keep those within easy distance. If you've got range of motion challenges, you have no idea how big a help that will be for you. LED light strips. This is actually a really cool thing. They are such a cheap and cheerful thing these days, but to put them under cabinets, inside of medicine cabinets, on stair steps, bonus, 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 because as our eyes age, we have more difficulty processing light, and having the areas that we use light up, ever so helpful. Now, here's this bidet toilet seat. They were all the rage last year. They sure were. You could not get one during the pandemic, the height of the pandemic. They are around now, and it's something I've been wanting for a long, long time. I have in the past traveled quite a bit to Europe. I haven't since the pandemic, but I have in the past traveled quite a bit to Europe, and bidets are just normal over there. Ever so practical. They do save on toilet paper, and they are a very good way of cleaning. So if you have range of motion issues, a bidet toilet seat retrofitted onto your existing toilet, fantastic. I got one just before I had my surgery. I had surgery on my elbow, so I was told it was going to be a lengthy recovery. Fortunately, I've recovered a lot faster than they told me I was going to. So I've been pretty diligent about my exercises. So anyway, I still love having this bidet toilet seat. And, my range of motion issues haven't really kicked in a big way yet, but I do exercise a fair amount. So, hopefully that helps. But a bidet toilet seat, whether or not you have range of motion issues, is a money saver on toilet tissue. You do need to have an electrical outlet in the wall behind the toilet if you want to have warm water on your tush. I wanted warm water, and so I got one, and I'm very glad that I did. I'm so grateful to have it, and I use it every single day. You can buy them for a variety of price ranges. So, again, do your research. Um, for me, I bought one that has a remote. I showed it to you actually. There's a Facebook Live. I did a tour of my bidet. Um, I had a remote because most of them come with the controls on the right hand side of the toilet seat and they're attached. Well, it was my right arm that I was having surgery on, so that wasn't helpful to me. And while there were a couple that had left handed fixed controls, they weren't available to me at the time that I purchased. So I ended up with the one that has a wand. It's like a TV clicker, it's just a wand. Um, and of course, you have to have a safe place to put it so it's not always falling down on the floor. The one that I purchased does come with a little holder that you can put on a wall, which assumes that your toilet is next to a wall, a pony wall or a full wall or whatever you've got. I don't have that, so it just kind of hangs out loosely, but that's fine. The unfortunate part of having a remote controlled bidet is that the bidet manufacturers seem to think that this makes it rather more of a luxury item. So it comes with a lot of other features, which are great, many of which I don't use, but it increases the expense. So I probably paid a good deal more for my bidet than I needed to. However, I bought it. It's installed. It's done. I use it. I love it. It's fine. You can get bidet toilet seats for a very reasonable price. And if you've got a family that's going together on a gift, it's a really good thing. So do check that out. All right. Can openers, they're making a bit of a comeback. So don't forget a can opener, and particularly a one-handed can opener. For somebody who is having arthritic hand challenges, an electric can opener can be a really good thing. Air fryers, oh my gosh, they have been such a big deal for the last year. And I have one. I have one in my apartment, and I absolutely love it. Can't remember the last time I turned my oven on. Probably would turn the oven on if I needed to cook a turkey or a big pan of lasagna, but other than that, I use the air fryer for everything. Absolutely everything. In fact, I really think that between my barbecue, which is outside, if I just had an air fryer and a stovetop, I'd be good. So an air fryer is a really good thing. I have a 2-drawer air fryer, or dual zone as they call it. So single serving meals, things with lovely instructions that you can warm up. Those are great. Raised garden beds, they really help people who like to garden, grow their own food or flowers, to be able to avoid that getting down on your knee thing. You have no idea how much of a help that would be. Ring doorbells, that's a safety and security issue. You know, for people who have people coming to their door and they don't know who it is, then they can look on their Ring doorbell camera and see who it is before they answer the door. And if your loved one is a person who has difficulty moving around, then the Ring doorbell doesn't have this, but there are other like kinds of security systems where they can unlock the door from their chair or wherever they happen to be. So make sure you consider the need that the person has. And then that sort of a system, that sort of a camera system, gives people independence but lets them be safe as well. Now, as an accessibility strategist, I know that I often have conversations with people who just want to get some guidance. They just want to get a little bit of help from people to point them in the right direction with their home. And you know, maybe they are starting to think about some renovations, or maybe they are having some specific issues. Purchasing an hour or two from somebody who is an accessibility strategist. If you don't have one in your area, an occupational therapist may be able to do the same kinds of things for your loved one. Purchase an hour or two from that sort of a professional to give you a bit of a hand up. I know I certainly have the ability to work by Zoom. Many of my colleagues do as well, and they will certainly do that. If you're looking at renovations, there's a list of things there that are issues that should be considered. I mean, you know, I firmly believe that when people are renovating their kitchen when they're, 40 years old, they should be considering what that need is going to be in that kitchen when they're 60 years old and renovate accordingly. And if you're renovating your kitchen now and you're 50 or 60, then think about what your needs are going to be when you're 80 or 90. If you're still planning on living in your house, life happens. So you never know what's going to happen, but at least you can give yourself a hand and help yourself to make your house work better with you. Or in the case of your loved one, help their house work better with them so that they can stay in it longer, independently, which will make them happy, and safely, which will make you happy. So that is our gift guide for 2022. And again, you can find it at theoldish.com. I've got it pinned to the start menu or to the top menu of most popular items because it is this time of year a more popular item. So it's been up there for about 10 days now, and it's not going to disappear anytime soon. So have a look. See if you can find something for that person you love that is really hard to buy for. Don't clutter up their house with stuff they don't need. I remember when my grandfather passed away and we were cleaning out his drawers. There were in his drawers pajamas still with the, how you buy pajamas and they're all folded up and they've got the ribbon around them. Pajamas like that, t-shirts in bags that weren't opened, socks that still had the little plastic thing through them to keep them together. So, it was clearly stuff he didn't need, but we needed to have something for him to unwrap under the tree. So instead of thinking about what we gave him, perhaps it would have been more prudent for us to think about what he needed and give him that. And it's not always super sexy, but you can make it a wonderful, valuable gift as well and help people to maintain their independence. So I hope you will consider that. Let me know if you have any questions. Put your comments below and we will see them and everybody can answer. If you've got any other ideas that have worked in your life and in your family, please pop them in. You never know. They might show up in next year's gift guide. Until we meet again, take care, everybody. Be good to yourselves and be kind to one another. Bye.